Hey there, welcome to Turbocharged Life with tips, shortcuts, and advice from the experts to help you create a crazy, ridiculous, amazing, fun-filled turbocharged life. You are going to love this episode because it's all about reducing your body fat with fitness expert Melissa McAllister. She's going to share with us how you can get amazing ripped abs just like hers. And get this, you're not going to have to go on a diet, and this program is not about exercise. Oh, you're going to love this stuff.
Lifers, get ready to turbocharge. Your host is a New York Times bestselling author. She's built and sold several multi-million-dollar companies. Founder of the Smart Success Academy for Entrepreneurs. This happily married mother of two was once voted class clown. She's committed to end the trend of Crocs with socks. Welcome your hostess with the mostest, Chalene Johnson.
Nope, not valedictorian. Not most likely to succeed. Class clown. Yep. I'm sure Marge and Bill were not too happy about that. Funny thing is, I'm still kind of mad about it because I was trying to win best dressed all year long. I didn't know it wasn't like a campaign thing. I didn't find out until the yearbook came out that I'd been voted class clown. Anyways, enough about me. Let's talk about Melissa McAllister, our guest today. She's amazing, you guys. I cannot wait for you to listen to this episode. But I want to start it by just describing to you what she looks like. Actually, that's kind of lame. I should start by just telling you what she's like as a person, because that's what's most important. And we'll get to what she looks like in just a moment. But Melissa McAllister is someone I've known for almost 15 years. She's a fellow fitness professional. She's very well known in our industry. I love to call her Instagram famous. You may have seen her on Instagram. She's got this amazing rockin' body, but even cooler than that is she's just the nicest, most humble person you'll ever meet. Very unassuming, helps everybody, always wants to take care of people. She's a tremendously successful leader. She's in the Millionaires Club in the health and fitness industry. She's a coach. She's an entrepreneur who I respect and admire. She's starred in countless exercise DVDs, and her body is just amazing. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have her on this program, is because for as long as I've known her, I've never seen her body fat go up and down as many people just tend to do. I mean, that's just being human. Sometimes you're super ripped and sometimes you go up a few pounds, but she always looks amazing. And her hair is super thick and long, and I've yanked on her hair before. There aren't any extensions in there. She just really exudes health and fitness. And so in this episode, she's going to share with us her secret that very few people know, at least not until this episode of The Turbocharged Life. So get ready to have your mind blown, because this is some pretty cool stuff. All right, lifers, I'm so excited to have with us today Melissa McAllister. Are you there?
I'm here.
Awesome. Well, today we're excited because you're going to share with us your approach to health and fitness and nutrition. And as I mentioned in your intro, you're just one of those people who you're always camera ready. And every time I see you, I'm like, she's always in this amazing shape, but you eat and you don't kill yourself a lot, she says. And I just love your approach to training and lifestyle. And we've been out to late night dinners and had sushi. And then, in the last probably 3 or 4 months, you shared with me your 8-hour ab diet. And I was like, no way, that's how you do it. This is so cool. Now, I want to, preface this by saying to those who are listening, this program is really about sharing different best practices. So that's not to say that this is going to work for everybody, but I love this idea. And it's not something a lot of people are talking about. But ironically, after you shared with me your concept of the 8-hour ab diet, I talked to a few other people who I think of as just always in impeccable shape, always, year round. And I started asking them more questions about the hours in which they eat. And I am finding more and more often that people are doing something very similar to you. So let's just cut right to the chase and explain to our listeners, what is the 8-hour ab diet?
Yeah, if I can give you a real quick background,
Please.
I have, I've been a fitness instructor for 15 years, 15 years last month, actually. And it didn't dawn on me until several months ago that there was actually a system behind what I was doing. And I was always having people saying, because my body fat has been in the teens for all the way through my 20s, my 30s. And now that I'm 40, it stays there. And people would always ask me, what do you do? And I'm like, I don't know. I eat well and I exercise. And I didn't realize that for 15 years, I've had this system until it just dawned on me. And what I do is it's called, technically it's called intermittent fasting. And what it is I eat within an 8-hour window. And for me, it has always worked about 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. I eat my food, and I still eat very healthy and very well, quite a bit of food too, but it's only within that 8-hour window. And so what you're doing is daily fasting for 16 hours out of the day.
Wow. And when you say you didn't realize this is what you were doing, do you mean, because obviously there had to be some thought, you know, okay, it's 11, now I can eat, or it's 7 p.m., the kitchen's closed. But is it that you didn't realize other people weren't doing that? Or did you not realize that's what was special about you being able to keep your body fat so low?
Well, it's so controversial. And there's been studies on both ends of the spectrum of whether or not you should eat breakfast. Some people say you should eat breakfast before you work out, and some people say that you shouldn't. And there's goods and bads to both, and everybody is individual. And so this has just always worked for me. But I realized, 15 years ago, when I started teaching in the morning, I felt better teaching on an empty stomach. I had a ton of energy. I didn't feel weighed down. And so I would always get up in the morning, have my coffee, which I still do, and get on the computer, whether it's Facebook or answering emails, and then I go teach. And then I teach my class on an empty stomach. And then I came home and I would make myself a healthy, I should say lunch. It was still breakfast for me, but it wasn't until about 11 a.m. And then I would wait several hours, eat again, wait several hours and eat again. And that's how I have done it for 15 years. But I never wanted to say anything publicly because, 15 years ago, it was huge for everybody to talk about how important breakfast was. It should be the biggest meal of the day. And so I was kind of like, I don't want to go against what everybody's saying.
Yeah. Gosh, that's so cool that you are just honest and transparent about that. I agree. I did a podcast on the 11 healthy habits of fit people. And kind of just said, there's a whole bunch of things that just people keep saying because they feel like, well, this is what we're supposed to say because everybody's saying it. But then if you really dig deep and you turn the lights down real low and you have a one-on-one conversation with these people who live a fit lifestyle, there are some things that they don't like to share with other people because they think that they will be judged.
Yeah.
But why not tell people, this is what I'm doing? I just don't believe that there's one way for everybody's DNA to be its best. So why not share with people, this is what works for me, my body composition, the way I lead my life, the fact that I teach more classes early in the morning. And so I commend you for just putting it out there and being honest and saying, hey, I know everyone's saying you're supposed to eat first thing in the morning, but I'm telling you, that's not what I do.
Nope, never.
Love it. And so did you do some research or did this just happen by accident? I mean, in terms of when you first started doing it, eating this way.
No, when I first started eating that way, I didn't have any research behind it. And I guess that's why I was so surprised to find all of the studies and all the research that has been done here recently, because it was just trial and error with me. What worked best for me? People are so, afraid. I mean, it's the same as the low fat diet, back in the day, to think that they should not exercise on an empty stomach, when actually it takes about 6 to 8 hours at least for your body to go through its glycogen stores or its sugar, your carbohydrate stores. It takes at least 6 and 8 hours for your body to get through that. And if you are constantly eating that often, what you're doing is never allowing your body to actually go into its fat stores. It's always constantly working on the carbohydrate stores. And so about that 16-hour window, especially when you're resting and you're asleep, allows your body to do what it's meant to do and to go into any fat stores, especially here today, where people have a little extra fat stores, to utilize that instead of letting it just sit there dormant or, worse yet, add to it, over the weeks and months.
That's so interesting. And if you think about it, most of us, especially those of us who are entrepreneurs, we tend to burn the candle at both ends. We go to bed too late. We keep ourselves awake with just snacking, which like you said, then your body is never going into that state where we're really technically going into a place where we can burn more fat. So is it something that you ever wake up and you teach a morning class and you feel lightheaded or dizzy or out of energy?
Absolutely not. I think anybody who's taken my class would definitely back me up that I have tremendous energy. And I understand, like, if you're sitting here right now thinking, this might be something I would want to try, but I wake up starving. And all it is a learned habit. You wake up and your body is used to that habit of having something to eat. And so it's something that you might need to ease into, that you wake up and, once a week, you tell yourself, I'm going to eat an hour later. And just kind of go into it slowly, because your body is a creature of habit. And if you've been doing something for so long, it's going to feel like it's not for you. That's not true. It's just, you're just breaking a habit that you have in order to see if this would truly work for you. So it's not something that you can do for, 3, 5, 7 days and decide whether or not this is great for you and it's working for you. You've really got to, stick to it for quite a while to see that it's something that will help you, stay your fittest that you can be.
Well, after I opted in and I got your free report and I was reading through, I'm like, okay, I can do this. Chalene, you can do this. And so I thought, I'm just going to give this a shot. And well, let's just say that the first day I did the 10-hour diet and I allowed myself 10 hours to eat. And I was just like, I can't make it to 11. But I think it was mental. It wasn't that I was hungry.
Sure.
It was just like, that's when I normally eat. So I was like, oh my gosh, and So I went as long as I could, which is until about 9 a.m. because I teach a 5:30 a.m. class.
Oh, yeah.
And then I stopped eating, I think, like around 9 o'clock that night, which for me was, I try to stop eating like around 7, but I'll usually have just nibbles of something until 9. That's technically, even if I'm having nibbles of food, am I correct in understanding that I'm not yet allowing the body to go through that process?
Yes, you have, your body, I'm not going to get technical at all on you, but you have so many hormones that are designed to help you control your appetite, to, help speed up your metabolism, and to, full sensation that you have. It's leptin and ghrelin. I'm sorry, I don't know why I had to hesitate there, but those two hormones will not go into effect if you don't allow your body to go through its natural process. So if you're a person that kind of just snacks throughout the day, even at 12 times a day, every hour, you never allow your body to go through the whole process of eating a good meal, getting, satisfied from it, start to digest it, slowly utilize it. And then what you're going to have is, that sensation of hunger coming back, which is a good sensation. And it allows your body to start to, go back into the storage of fat, because that's what those hormones are for. And if you're a snacker, which is never how they say your ancestors ate, that you're not allowing your body to do what it's meant to do, and it's to go through all of those phases. So even for me in these 8 hours, I always say there's two types of people: the people that like to eat maybe 5 or 6 smaller meals a day, and people who like to eat maybe 3 larger meals a day. And it doesn't matter, as long as in that 8-hour window you're eating the same amount of calories that you would eat in a 12-hour window. So you're not restricting your calories anymore in that 8 hours.
Wait, let's get a big round of applause.
Yay.
Yay.
You get to eat, and you get to eat a lot. And there's studies that have been shown that, because you hear all the time that people say, if you eat, 6 small meals a day, you keep your metabolism up. And that's false information. Your metabolism is representative of how much food you eat, whether it's 3 meals a day or 6 small meals a day. It's the amount of calories you eat. So if you eat a bigger meal, your metabolism spikes more. If you eat a smaller meal, it spikes less. So it doesn't matter whether it's 6 or 3 meals in that 8-hour period, whatever works best for you. But you've got to eat, and you've got to eat the calories you would in a full day.
Now, what happens on those days, especially for our listeners who have children or they have to attend a business dinner, or they've got to, wake up really early in the morning? What happens when it doesn't work, let's say, with other people's plans? How do you cope with that?
And that happens a lot. And what I do is I try to plan. I mean, I'm sure there's surprise parties all the time, but normally someone will give you enough advance notice that you have, a business meeting where you're going to go have breakfast with people, or you're going to go have dinner with friends, that you can, kind of move your 8-hour window around to where you might eat a little bit later in the day because you have a late dinner, or vice versa, because you had breakfast. You're just going to stop eating a little bit earlier in the day.
Okay. And how often do you give yourself permission to say, well, I didn't stick to it today. I didn't eat within the 8-hour window. It was a 10-hour window. Be honest. Just tell us.
I don't. It's such a habit for me, Chalene, that I couldn't even tell you that if I goofed or not.
Wow.
I've become such a creature of habit with it, but it has to happen at least once or twice, or I should say, let's say 2 to 4 times a month.
Okay. Now for our perfectionists who are out there, I stopped eating at 7. I stopped eating at 7 tonight. And the whole family was in the kitchen. I was in there having a conversation with everybody. And before I knew it, I'd accidentally eaten 4 bites of my son's spaghetti. And it's 9 o'clock. Now, if that's you, would you then adjust your hours the next day?
Not for something small like that.
Okay.
No, just take it as an oops and keep going.
Okay. Yay. I love this stuff. All right. Now, is this safe?
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, there have been probably more studies done on it than anything else. But because people are scared by the word fasting, I think because there are different levels and different types of fasting, it's just not real publicized. But, there are studies have been done that, it can extend your life. They say it can regulate your glucose, control your cholesterol, help you manage your body weight and stuff. So it's very safe. And I think what people are most nervous about is because you're only eating in an 8-hour window, that it's going to drop their metabolism, because that's what they've been taught for so many years, is that, if you don't eat those small meals a day throughout the whole day, that your metabolism is going to drop. And there's just study after study done that that's not true, that if anything, it does the opposite.
And, it's funny that you should say that people are afraid of this, or there's a negative association with the word fasting. But every night, every one of us is fasting, unless you're, sleepwalking and landing in the kitchen eating that you're not aware of.
Yeah.
All of us are fasting. So you're just really extending that period consistent with what our bodies were originally designed to do, our ancestors, and how we best used our nutrition, if I'm not mistaken. And how is it that somebody who is, really unaccustomed to this, I'm used to eating at 5 a.m. Before my class, and my kids come home late and we eat a really late dinner. How would you suggest that somebody who has to make some pretty major changes, how do they transition into this?
This program, which I think is one of the wonderful things about it, is it's so individual. So you're going to have people that, like you, that get up really early in the morning, and you still want to eat, I would say like within a 4-hour window of getting up. So for you, I would hope, Chalene, that you go to bed at a decent time so you get a good night's sleep. So those people will stop their feeding time before they go to bed, maybe 2 hours, because you don't want to go to bed famished. So
I love stop the feeding time. I'm going to put a big sign in my kitchen that says, stop the feeding time. That's what I need to do.
And so everybody's different. Some people stay up really late, and so they're going to want to start eating later in the day. And other people who get up really early but go to bed early will start eating earlier in the day. So it's very customized to each person, and I'm not hungry in the morning. I don't know if it's because I've been doing this so long, or if that's just in my nature. Some people get real hungry in the morning, and some people can't function without having food in their stomach. So you're going to have to, play with that and figure out if you need to eat early in the morning, but not at night. So it's a give or take.
And I love that your guide actually tells people, you don't have to consume all of your calories in 8 hours the first week. You can kind of transition into this lifestyle, so that, because there are those of us who like to transition, and then there are those listening who are cold turkey, and tomorrow they're going to, download your plan and get started on, just giving this a shot to see if it works for them. And what I love about, nutrition and even exercise, which I think is so important to share with people who are looking to really turbocharge their energy and their life, is that you have control. You're in the driver's seat. If you don't feel well, if you don't feel right, if you're doing strength training with heavy weights, The change isn't immediate and overnight. It's gradual. You can tweak and make adjustments. And if something's not working for you, just like this diet, if it's something that doesn't quite feel right, you adjust, you tweak it, and you have control.
Absolutely. And it goes the same thing with the specific kind of food you eat. If you are, most of your creative thinking and your energy is expelled in the morning, then you're going to want to have a good amount of carbohydrates in the morning. Or if you are the opposite at night, maybe you teach group exercise or you work out at night, that you'll have the carbohydrates more toward the evening. So it's all about customizing it to your specific lifestyle. And you're not doing what I do, because what I do may not work for you, but they're just general guidelines that I'm telling you seem to be working pretty well.
Yeah. Hello. So you have to check out the show notes from Melissa's interview, because I'm going to include some really great photos of her, and your jaw's going to drop when you realize that she has 2 kids up and out of the house, and that we share the same birthday, by the way.
Yeah.
But those abs, there's no filter, y'all. Those are her abs 24/7, which leads me to my next question. How much of the 8-hour ab diet is about the times that you eat, and how much of it is about what you eat, and how much of that do you go into for those who are about to download your plan?
Well, that is like we talked about before. I want people to know that they have the freedom to make it perfect for them. And so I'm not real specific for everybody. I give a sample meal or sample diet of what to eat. And it is, I believe it's 5 meals, but that's because the majority of people that I have talked to will eat about 5 times a day. For me, like I said, however, though, I'm a 3-meal person. Some people are more comfortable eating just little bits here and there and being satisfied. I'm the kind of person that could sit and eat a whole pizza, because I like that feeling of being full, really full. So for me, 3 meals work better. So I sit down and I have a substantial breakfast, a substantial lunch, and a substantial dinner. And in that sample diet, you'll see that I'm really heavy on lean proteins, healthy fats, and your carbohydrate should mostly come just from fruits and vegetables. I personally am not a big grain person or dairy. I did put in there some Greek yogurt because I think that's a great source of protein, but I'm not a huge dairy fan or grain.
So in other words, if I know I eat really clean, if I just learn how to transition to the schedule and I stick to my pretty clean eating plan, whether I'm vegan or paleo, I'm going to see results even just from applying the rules and the suggestions that you have with regard to fasting.
Yes. And interestingly enough, and I'm not a real big fan of studies on mice, but they did a study on mice where these 2 groups of mice both ate the same amount of food, and both of the diets were really high in fat. And one group of mice were given food 12 hours a day, and the other group was given the same diet, same amount of calories in 8 hours. And that group that did the 8-hour, they actually lost 28% of body fat doing it in the 8-hour, as opposed to the group that ate in a 12-hour period. So they didn't change anything about food. And that's, if I can preface one thing, the first thing you need to get control of is your eating, that you are eating for fuel, not for fun, as I always say. That's most important. And then once you get that down, then start working on trying to get it within an 8-hour window.
I wonder if anyone else that's listening is picturing like these little mice with 6-packs. I'm like picturing like bicep curls and they're all ripped. And then there's these chubby mice. Well, I love that. And, I think the next question that people will probably want to know is, how do I do this when, everybody else in my family, like, how do I have the determination to because so much of our social life, so much of how we interact with our family revolves around food. Are there times, Melissa, where everyone's eating and you're sitting and drinking a glass of water? And can I have water while I'm fasting?
First, you can have tea and coffee during the fasting. Anything that's non-caloric. There's too much bad stuff about diet soda, so I'm not going to tell you to drink diet soda. But if it's non-caloric, you're okay during those hours of fasting.
Okay.
And there's plenty of times that I am not eating in front of other people, and they may tease me, and they may joke, and they may, put food under my nose, but I smile because I know deep down inside, if anything, I'm probably inspiring them. And at that moment, maybe when they're enjoying, the queso and chips, that they'll put some thought into the fact, why, is there a reason, why Melissa is so disciplined, and come to me later and say, hey, I'd really like to get control of my health, and you inspire me. So that's my mindset. And there's plenty of times that I'm sitting it out.
Amen. Love that. That's so true. We do, and you do find that people tend to tease and poke fun because it triggers something in them where, they wish they had your determination, and to see, just to kind of wear that with a badge of honor, like, you're not restricting your calories. You're just, the kitchen isn't open all day long.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, is there a way for people who have a tough time sticking to any type of regimen? Are there any tips you can give people that will help to keep them accountable?
Well, first and foremost, if you can find an accountability buddy, I think that is the most important thing, because I've always said this, it's so much easier for you to, and I think it's sad, but it's so much easier for you to let yourself down than it is somebody else. And so if you have an accountability partner and you guys decide to do this together, you're going to stick to it in the beginning before you actually see and feel results for your partner than you would for yourself. And so get yourself a partner and do this together with at least one other person. And I think you'll stick to it.
Wow. Now, have you coached other people who've had results using your 8-hour diet? What can you tell us?
Yeah, I would. My husband, for one, poor guy. He was a big muncher because he's such a busy man. So he would just eat when he could. And here, in the last probably 6 months, we have really stuck to this so that I can kind of see that it's not just me that it works for. And he is one lean, mean machine. So him, and then I do have some, people in my organization that'll come to me and say, what, I just am having trouble. I exercise. I mean, they live for exercise and they try to eat healthy, and they're like, I just can't understand what I'm doing. And so I've asked them to continue to eat clean, but just to shorten that window to 8 hours. And all of them have seen positive results.
That's awesome. Yeah. The before and after photos that you sent me are amazing. And I'll include as much as I can in our show links so that you don't have to search for this. You can actually just click on the link in my show notes at chalenejohnson.com/podcast. Actually, you'll be receiving a copy of Melissa's 8-hour ab diet, which is remarkable. Do you offer personal coaching? Like if someone says, hey, I want to hire you to do my meal planning. I know people are going to ask if you do that. Is that something you do? And how are people able to work with you?
Yeah, I actually do. I don't necessarily work on a one-on-one basis, but I do offer accountability groups that I put together every month, where I put like-minded people, like I talked about before, where you need that sense of accountability from other people. So I put people together in groups where they get my one-on-one attention with the 8-hour ab diet, and I help them structure that into their life, and I help them with a fitness program. And together we all learn to work that into our life as a lifestyle.
What a great opportunity. You're such an incredible leader, because I think you're honest with people, and you show your vulnerabilities. You share your struggles with people, and people really relate to you. If you haven't followed Melissa on Instagram, she's Instagram.com/Melissa Made. She's famous on Instagram, y'all. You will love her account. So once you've got the diet nailed down, let me tell you, she will handle the fitness component for you too. I am constantly going to her Instagram feed going, whoa, how did she think of that? That is so cool. And you just got so many great tips, but not just videos. You really explain to people not only how to do it, but all the different levels and kind of how to start wherever you are. And you're just a great role model. So that's fantastic that people have the opportunity to learn more about you.
Thank you.
This has been an eye-opening. Melissa, I'm gonna just put it out there right now. I'm gonna spend the next 7 days on the 8-hour diet. And I'm gonna report back to you. I know it's gonna work, because even when I, kind of did it, I woke up in the morning, I was like, whoa, my stomach is so flat. This must work. So I'm going to do it. I've just committed publicly. Everybody else, if you've committed, send her a tweet, say hello on her Instagram, let her know that you listen to this podcast. Join one of those accountability groups, and let's all do it together.
That's exciting.
Awesome. Thank you for being with us today, Melissa. It was great to have you.
Thank you so much. It was fun.
Okay, update. So since I recorded this interview with Melissa and I vowed to try it, we did. Of course, I didn't want to do it alone, so I forced my husband, Brett, to do it with me. My sister happened to be here visiting me at the same time, so I forced her to do it. And my brother-in-law, Matt, who's like 6'5". So, those first 3 days were really tough. Like I felt like I was on the show Survivor. Like it was a mental thing. It wasn't even that I was hungry. It was just, I normally come home from teaching my early morning class and I eat. And at night when we watch TV, I'm usually, even if it's not something super calorie laden, I, typically like to wind down with the kids and watch some train wreck TV or just chill out on the couch and have some kind of a snack. So it was more so the habits that was tough to break. But now it's been 2 weeks and I'm happy to report that I feel great. And so does Brett. And I see my husband in his underwear in the morning and I got to tell you, he's looking good. So it's, I don't know if we'll keep this or maintain it, but I do feel better. I feel like I'm sleeping better. I feel lighter and more energetic. I have plenty of energy for my morning workouts. It doesn't feel torturous anymore. I haven't reduced my calories intentionally, but I feel like some of the reason why I'm experiencing like a little bit of body fat loss, and I haven't weighed myself yet, but I feel like it's probably because I'm just naturally eating fewer calories because I've limited the number of hours during which I eat. I'm eating the same meals. I'm eating mainly the same snacks. I just think it's that nighttime extra stuff that was making a difference. And I really feel like, and maybe it's a placebo effect, but I really feel like my body is a fat burning machine while I sleep. So good luck to you. I hope that you'll give it a try. Please visit Melissa. I've posted links to all of the places where you can find her at chalenejohnson.com/podcast. And by the way, thank you so much for writing reviews. This is how we get the word out about this show. I love you guys. You're the best.
Thanks for listening, Lifers. Chalene invites you to join her for her free coaching program designed to help you get organized, productive, and laser focused on what really matters. To sign up for a free video coaching program, please visit 30daypush.com.